Good day, viewers around the world. Good day to you. It's morning here in Milan, Italy, and my name is Min.Edun. We're here on our Wednesday News Echoes update we call Global Africa. So you're welcome. Wednesday, the 17th of April, 2023. I'm here to do this update with my colleagues and friends, brothers, Olayinka Ogbeni Olayinka Raji. I like to put that title. Ogbeni Olayinka Raji. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, good morning, my friend. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Welcome to this Wednesday program. And good
Thank
morning, global audience all over the world.
Good morning, global audience all over the world.
Yes.
It can't be global without Sir George Chukwu from Toronto, Canada. Sir George, good morning, sir. It's morning here.
Good morning, Godwin. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Beautiful, George.
Beautiful, beautiful. Good morning, viewers from around the world. Today's show is going to be a fantastic one. I want you to stay with us.
It's going to be a fantastic one, George. And you look good with Raji, well dressed, looking like real corporate Nigerians, you know?
Good morning.
Nice.
You look like you're going to a wedding yourself.
Anyway, somewhere it's not looking too good. We don't know how true this will be. Dangote Petroleum Refinery has announced a further reduction of price in its diesel. Guys, Dangote has reduced price from 1,200 to 1,000 Naira per litre. Raji, you're the man on ground. How true is this? This is what we're hearing, breaking news.
Yeah, we read it on the papers. We hear it in the news. I'm not seeing any effect. I'm not seeing any jubilation yet. Maybe it hasn't seeped into the whole place yet. But it's a welcome development if price of petroleum products are going down. But much more than diesel going down will be more desirable will be the price of petrol going down, because that is much more widely used than diesel, and transporters are complaining that they are using almost all their daily earnings to buy fuel, to buy petrol too. So I'll be much happier if the price of fuel, for instance, come down from 600 to like 400 or 350. That would be an improvement. That would be something that I would jubilate about.
That would be something you jubilate about. George,
yes.
The news came out early this morning. It was about 12 a.m. midnight Nigerian time. Dangote says refinery, his petroleum refinery has announced that reduction. And now our man is saying something contrary to that. But anyway, he said the reduction in that price of diesel is expected to positively affect all spheres of economy and reduce the high inflation rate in our country, Nigeria. George, do you think this will reduce inflation rates?
Well, anything that is, anytime there is any sort of improvement, especially in prices of things, it's always welcome. But I stand with Raji on this one, because the jump in fuel prices, where it was before to where it came to, and still remains up until today. Maybe later, as things begin to evolve, it will bring positivity to the nation, to transportation, logistics, and the price of goods and all that type of stuff. Because what you're seeing is, when the price of fuel goes up, the price of food goes up. The price of importation of goods and distribution of it goes up. So everything is affected. And Nigeria cannot afford any type of to remain where it has been in recent days, with the inflation and, many people dying in different parts of the world, and people just rising up because of hunger and the kidnapping and insecurity all over the place. So, well, I mean, whenever something, like this happens, it gives us hope. that it will get better. But whether it's reflecting already on the people on ground, like Raji said, it's not being felt yet.
It's not being felt.
It's not
It
being
will be more
felt yet.
felt if it comes to fuel, if it comes to petrol.
Yes,
Okay.
also that's another point that he was making, because only a few percentage of vehicles, like many bigger vehicles, use diesel.
Okay.
Usually it's all most people import vehicles with petroleum engine, gas
Petrol.
engine, and all that stuff.
All right, guys. Let's bring in our man from London, UK, Femi. Okay, Femi,
Thank
you're
you, Minister.
welcome.
Thank you. I'm
Morning.
lovely to be here. Glad to be
Yes,
here.
we're happy
Sorry.
to see you. Femi ran the news when that thing broke out. Dangote Petroleum Refinery reducing the price of diesel. Femi was quick to put that out, and I like that. That was real time action. Femi, do you think really, like the statement says, that it will positively affect all spheres of economy and reduce inflation rate in our country? Do you think this will happen? Because you didn't hear you need to hear what Raji said, but let's hear from you as a man with the news.
I've always said to you that Nigeria is a paradox in that when oil prices, when Naira falls, then automatically inflation. We start saying inflation, all prices start going up. When petroleum prices goes up, automatically it's reflected in the prices. So one wonders what kind of market do we have? How free is our market that when prices now start to fall, they don't automatically get reflected in the end products? And the reason is sometimes there's a lag between prices being reflected in the market, especially when they go down. Most marketers are reluctant to reflect that fall in price because they're thinking we still need to watch, maybe prices will go back up again, so they sort of take a slower chance time to reflect that price. But really, in all honesty, over here in the UK, when oil prices go down, the pump price goes down. When prices go up, and so on. So it should be reflective. Whether it will happen in Nigeria, I don't know of any time when a price of a product that's gone up suddenly goes down. But although someone has been saying that rice is now reducing in the market, and so people are doing surveys and saying that things are reflecting slowly.
We hope it reflects. But Raji said the otherwise. But let's go on with two other stories. News are flying around. While we're talking, gentlemen, right about now in Washington, D.C., Nigerian two major representatives, the CBN Governor Olayemi Kadoso and the Minister of Finance, Wale, are both saying food inflation is slowing down Nigeria now. Government is revving up our economy, and our economy is heading to the right direction. This is what they are saying now. I had a little of of their speech right there in Washington, attending the IMF World Bank spring meeting. Guys, are they giving false information or is it true? Let's come back again to Raji. Raji, this is what our guys are saying in Washington at the IMF spring meeting, that Nigeria is picking up now, economy is getting to the right direction, and inflation, food inflation is slowing down.
So my take on this is that, are they in Washington to give a report to their masters? Are they there to give a report to their master, to their puppeteers? What is the essence of their report in Washington? Is Washington controlling our economy? Let them tell us, so we know. So they are just there like school children going to their headmaster to report their progress. And I don't see whatever they are doing in the country now that is really affecting, that is really bringing down the price of food, which is very important for us. Food. The Naira may be gaining because the Naira was almost drowned by their own policies. And they are just bringing out the Naira out of the water, and they are saying that the Naira is gaining. Well, let's see what happens. But so far, I wonder what they are doing in Washington, giving a report to their puppet masters.
Wow, Raji came strong on this one. George, are they giving report to their puppet masters, or they are telling the world that we are getting better? I mean, if something good is happening in your home, you want to talk about it. It's normal.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's been bad, and even the food inflation in Nigeria it's been reported worldwide. You know, every news you go to, including Europe, Africa, even South Africa is reporting food inflation in Nigeria. One thing that I can tell you is this: it went bad from the previous administration, and they set up this current administration. They set them up badly. You know, I am so sorry, but you know, it's a reflection of what happened in the past that we are feeling today. Number one, the recoloring in the Naira. Number two, flooding the place with all kinds of, situation, whereby there was no consultation, no checking whether it's going to be good for the economy or not. You know, decisions were being made. And when Tinubu came in, mistakenly, he announced the subsidy out of excitement. And all these things cumulatively brought about the inflation and the bad omen to Nigerians. But I can tell you for sure right now, what they're doing in Washington is a good publicity thing that will help. Nigeria is getting better, whether we like it or not. You know, it might not reflect right away. You know, Rome was not built in a day. It did not become bad overnight. You know, and it's so bad that now any glimmer of hope and any glimmer of reduction in prices of goods and those things are welcomed. So Naira has fallen. Like here before, it was almost 2,000 Naira to per dollar. Right now it's falling down to almost 800 and something. It's a welcome news. So let's not just depend on when it is going bad. We keep on shouting. But when we see things progressively coming and taking place, which will eventually reflect in the economy, reflect in the goods and services that are being given within the country, and then also reflect on importation and distribution and logistics of goods. Let's be hopeful, and then say yes when they're doing good. Let's clap for them. That will help them to do.
We are talking about their presence in Washington, going to give report to their masters.
Well,
that's
my
what
brother,
we are talking about.
I know.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Hold tight. The thing about it is this: Nigeria is getting better. From now, at the beginning of the year to this time, we are now in April. It's gotten better, whether we like it or not. There are certain decisions that are being made.
We don't need to seek validation from anybody.
Listen, are you going to go to Washington?
Understand what Raji is saying. Raji is talking about.
Excuse me. Let's deal diplomatically, my brother. You don't go to Washington, D.C., and where the world is attending, IMF or whatever they're doing, and then you go over there and then you keep quiet. No, you have to give reports. And we have a positive report from the way it was at the beginning of the year to this time. It might not reflect positively on the economy, on the food inflation, on insecurity right now, but it's getting better. So should we go over there and eat our dirty laundry and say nothing is happening?
What are we doing there? Why did you have to go there in the first instance?
Let's hear from Femi.
Right.
Femi.
So the IMF is the International Monetary Fund. It's like the African Development Bank. It's a world institution. Nigeria is a partaker of that, and Nigeria is a member of that. We are a funder of it, and we're a receiver of loans. So the idea that we don't need to report to something that we're part of is just ridiculous. It's part of the kind of stuff that people do where we want to play as if to say we're not part of the real world. If you're part of the real world, you have to take part in the real world stuff. We're not an isolationist country. So going to the IMF is a report that everybody is giving of their own country's anticipation of what they like.
It is not everybody's giving report.
Let me finish my point. I didn't intercede when it was your turn. So
Yeah, but
Nigeria
I'm not calling your point
on.
ridiculous.
No.
Come on.
Yes.
Look, we should maintain decorum. So at the end of the day, we have a right to be there and to make our own, because every country is reporting on their own. And in fact, the IMF has its own independent report of Nigeria, and it's quite favorable. We must try not to always talk down our country. I noticed that some people have got into this thing where everything they want to talk about Nigeria is negative, and anything positive from Nigeria is bad news for them. And I think that's very wrong. I think if you're a patriot of Nigeria, of course, you should have constructive criticism. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But if there are things that are happening that are positive, we should all celebrate, because at the end of the day, anything good that happens for Nigeria is good for all Nigerians. Anything that's bad for Nigeria is bad for all Nigerians. So reporting to people who are going to be funders to Nigeria, who are going to be bringing foreign exchange into Nigeria, it's only a right that we should explain to them what the prevailing circumstances are, so that they too can make qualified decisions as to what they should do when they're thinking about investing in Nigeria. This is the right thing to do. But if we isolate ourselves and become like an Iran, or become like some Russia or something, then we're going to be joking to ourselves.
Nobody is talking about isolation. Nobody is talking about isolation.
Okay.
And in fact, you got my point completely wrong. I'm saying that we are making progress. Yes, we don't have to validate. We don't have to get validation from anybody. And in fact, as a matter of fact, I have a serious point about Nigeria taking loans. We should stop taking loans, especially from IMF. None of their loans have ever been helpful to us.
Productive.
None of their loans, even from, because we have not been able to. They have given us loans for. I can't see how any loaning organization could give loans to an entity without making sure that they will get their money back.
All right. Can I just add?
Almost every loan that Nigeria has gotten, they are failed to pay back.
Right, let him answer.
Let me just follow. There has been no time, apart from in the 80s, when Nigeria has not refunded back money as borrowed. So you must talk with facts and don't give in a situation that's not bearing the facts. In fact, Nigeria is one of the best countries. Nigeria, like I said, when you speak, I kept quiet. I put my hand out. When Nigeria goes out to get loans, and in fact, most of our funding is from treasury bills and bonds, not from IMF loan. In fact, the quantum of our foreign lending from IMF is quite minuscule. So to keep on harping on about IMF, we're reporting to IMF. That's not the case. We're reporting to the international community. You want to invest in Nigeria, this is a forum, this is what we're doing. It's not about, oh, we're going like school kids, we're reporting, oh, please, master, listen to us. No. And if you say that we don't need foreign investment, then, hey, that's up to you. But we actually do. You understand? Lending.
You are using your own words. I never mentioned that we don't need. I never mentioned that we don't need foreign investment.
Mr.
I never mentioned that.
Mr. Rasaki, you need to exercise restraint. You can always speak after I've spoken. I don't interject with you. I ask, so can I speak, and then they give me the floor. So at the end of the day, I'm just here to put. I'm just here to put the facts right, so that people not going to be misled into thinking that Nigeria is going cap in hands to IMF. We are not Sri Lanka. We're not Argentina. We're not in those kind of circumstances. Nigeria, in terms of lending, is very good for our money, and that's a fact.
And that's a fact. Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much, Femi. I understand where also our man Yinka is coming from. Sometime, Femi, we don't really need to. I mean, we're not little babies anymore. Nigeria is old enough to
Giant of Africa,
make his own decision, do his own thing, regardless of who's even borrowing us money. I mean, even if you're borrowing me money, you don't. Make me look like a slave, So that's what he's saying. These men are there in Washington. It's happening now. The event will happen till tomorrow. It's IMF World Bank spring meeting. They've called it. They're there in Washington, D.C. And they are saying Nigeria is changing. Economy is moving good. And food inflation is slowing down. Anyway, let's move to something else that is not really slowing down. I want us to take time to talk about this because we missed talking about this last last time we met,
Monday.
and that's the Yoruba Nation Agitators. Yoruba Nation Agitators on Saturday, the 13th of April, a group of 18 masked persons dressed in army camouflage, armed with rifles, charms, Odua national flags, attempted to take over the secretariat of the government secretariat and the House of Assembly in Oyo State. And they went there and proclaimed the emergency of a Yoruba nation. Now, this has been called, a lot of people have been saying so much on this. These are ragtag insurrectionists. These are, I mean, whatever words you want to use, but that wasn't, that didn't show any form of respect and patriotism to our country. That was very unpatriotic. Guys, let's talk about the Yoruba nation. Let me start with you, George. George, when the last time the IPOB did similar thing, federal government came hard on them. And because this is purely an act over a sovereign nation. Now, the Yoruba nation has done theirs too. April the 13th we will never forget. George, how did you copy that from your end?
Well, I copied it because there will always be contrarians, and there will always be people that feel like, when they need some sort of, these things come, through whenever there are, you see one section, when you have people that are always, everything is bad, nothing is ever good, and they equip all these young people. And what is happening here, most of these young people are people that are supposed to be out there productively working, gainfully employed. But because there is none of that, it's so easy to manipulate them. They become susceptible to gullible to some people that are leading these young people. They are not the ones. They are being influenced by higher power or somebody, one of the ones that call herself, Abiola's wife, or whatever the motivation might be. But like I said before, I believe that it's time for Nigeria to begin to have, certain type of repatriation treaty with some of these other countries. So when people are hiding like Simon Ipa and this lady and others, we are able to repatriate them to Nigeria to face consequences of their action. So these are the things. And then some of these young people, they died. But the hypocrisy in this whole entire thing is that if this thing had been in Southeast, you could have seen the kind of massacre that would have happened, like what is happening now in Delta State, where the whole entire place is sealed off. Even the governor does not know what is happening within, certain villages and all that kind of stuff. The media cannot even go there. So these are the things. Whenever something happens in one part of the country, we're able to forgive. They just released a lot of hostages, for after how many months,
Okay.
where are those people? So these are the hypocrisy that we're seeing in our country, which is not good.
Viewers, what you're watching, what you're seeing there is one of the places that was raided, and they found stock of army uniform, camouflage, boots, all kinds of army accessories and things they used on their invasion. Let me now come to our man Raji. Raji, this is it. Happened live in Oyo State. Oyo State. People went in, invaded, and this is treasonable. This is a treasonable offense, Raji. What do you say?
If it weren't so tragic, it would have been so comical. Because I look at the tomfoolery of the whole situation, and I was wondering, okay, what has happened? Is this something that could happen to a person when the person is hungry, when a person is being stabbed? Because I don't see any reason why there should be that kind of tomfoolery. I don't see any reason. And please, they do not represent the Yoruba nation. They are just a hawk-pock group of people, probably mentally retarded, probably and misguided. They don't represent. I seek for a Yoruba region in a federal country, federal Nigeria, a true federation where the Yoruba region will have control of its resources, just as we had in the First Republic, when Western Nigeria was in full control of their resources. And I want to achieve that by civil means, by legal means, by constitutional means, not by that kind of tomfoolery. And then the situation is not so bad as for us to go into armed insurrection. No,
Armed
I don't think
insurrection.
they are. Yes, I don't think
Yes.
so. I don't support it in any way.
Femi,
Right.
you and I went back and forth on this discussion that last time. The Odua boys took to their heels when the army came, and the woman Modupe Onitire Abiola is behind all of this. She endorsed this. She said she's the wife of the late MKO Abiola. Femi, how do you see all of this?
Right. So I'm Yoruba, just like Raji in the studio, but I'm here to say to you that I have no sympathy whatsoever or affinity whatsoever with the Yoruba nation agitation. I'm not like Raji saying that I'm looking for federation, blah, blah, blah. I'm happy with Nigeria. I'm happy with what we are. And the only thing I agree with him is that if you want any kind of agitation, you should do it in the constitutional manner. And the constitutional manner is by constitutional amendment. If you want to set up Oduduwa Party or a regional party like ABGA, you can set up the Oduduwa People's Congress Party and go for votes and get the mandate of the people. Just like Raji said, these people do not have the mandate of anybody. They're doing it on their own. And I don't agree with his analysis that they are miscreants or they are delusional type of people. They were interviewed a chap there who was a lecturer, and he's a very intelligent person, and he's been hooked up in this whole stuff. He's not on drugs. He knows exactly what he's doing. And I think, and unlike what George was saying, I feel strongly that this government of President Tinubu will not do like previous government. There'll be no hypocrisies, and these people will be made to pay the full price for what they have done. And what is that price? The price is, if you commit treason, whether it's a civil act, civil coup, or whatever you want to call it, it is the treasonable offense, and the penalty is death. You understand? So I would expect that these people haven't been caught. What happens in other regions is that people do these little things, and we don't find them, you don't see them, they become faceless people, and they hide within the community. What's happened here shows that the truth. The intelligence service are working. Okay, and they work with the collaboration of the locals. You understand? And it is the Yoruba people within the Oduduwa nation that exposed these people, that made it sure that you found that when they were doing what they were doing, the military were hot on their heels. When they do these things in the southeast, unfortunately, you don't find any police, or if the police get there, they've been eliminated. When they do these things in the north, you will tell them it's Zambiza forest, we can't find them. You understand? But it's happened in the southwest, and immediately on the day that they declared their bogus independence, they were apprehended and they were in the slammer, and they will be prosecuted. And that prosecution will serve as a deterrent, an example, and I hope that they give them the maximum sentence, which is death by whatever means, and that they should face the consequences. And when that happens, and because it's a Yoruba president, I mean, it's a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he represents everybody. But if a president of a Yoruba president can eliminate or prosecute to the fullest extent of the law Yorubas, woe betide anybody else that comes after from any other region who thinks that they're going to get some kind of amnesty or some kind of government should, do whatever. They will face the full weight of the law. And I hope that will set an example and a precedent henceforth. If you mess around with the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you pay the full price.
Yes.
Massive Mark.
Yes.
May I make a point there?
I want to put out something before you come. You come in.
Okay.
Now, what we observed from all of those culprits that were in this treasonable action is that they said they don't regret joining the struggle. They don't regret taking that action. They are standing their ground. So, and one of them said, the country has been plunged into very terrible times. People that he said, a lady said, they promised her she will have food, good source of livelihood, and she and her family will be able to live like human beings. That how they are living about now is very, very deplorable. These are in her words, I'm saying. So go ahead, Raji. I mean, they are standing their ground.
I just want to make a point that what they did was not treason. Was not treason. Yes, it's not a treasonable offense. It's just an insurrection. It's not a treasonable offense. Yes, I want to make that point. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
No.
Can I
Go on,
sometimes when things like this happen, we jump the gun. Now, if what they did constitutionally I've heard that is a treasonable offense, but the lawyers can go in and find out. But when you see this kind of social unrest, the first question is, what is the motivating factor? Why are people going so far to this? It could be because of individuals, just like Simon Ekpa, who is in Finland enjoying himself, and this lady, she's hiding somewhere in another country, just trying to gain power or whatever the case. Or she wants, just what's happening with what's his name from River State, where money is being given to him and his gang so that there will be peace. This is no, not Tompolo, the other guy. The one that is the fat fool that is always talking nonsense.
Yeah, the fat one. Yeah.
So Dokubo.
Yes.
Okay.
Asari
So Asari Dokubo. I mean, okay. You see, and this is part of that problem that I was talking about. When Asari went in to see the president and was sitting, in the chambers and discussing, talking nonsense. Even if you have a relationship with such a man, it should never be made public like that. Because what you're doing is this type of insurrection now. It could because of food inflation. It could because of the tension. Is as a result, you give them excuse to rise up and say, if the government can allow Asari Dokubo to come to what do you call it in Abuja? Rock to see the government, and they're clapping for him, and he comes out talking all kinds of nonsense, and then tomorrow he turns against the government. He comes back again, and nothing happens to him. Why are you coming after these people? Because you opened the door for such nonsense. It should not happen. If it is a treasonable offense, I think they should be prosecuted. But let's make sure that we do not form a government of gangs and all these little.
Can I just follow up? Look, at the point of Asari Dokubo has not engaged in insurrection. Of course, the Niger. Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
Hello.
Go ahead.
We'll
come back. We'll come back.
Did I freeze?
Let's come back.
This country has some of the most extraordinary culinary diversity in the world. I'm talking about Nigeria. This first dish is amala abula, made popular by the Yoruba people in southwest Nigeria. It starts with amala made from dried yam and then is covered in a variety of soups. Next we have ofe nsala, a white soup that is synonymous with the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria. It goes best with fufu, or akbo as the Igbos call it. Next we have suya, the most well-known food of the Hausa and Fulani people of northern Nigeria. Meat is covered in a peanut-based powder called yaji and cooked over an open fire. This is banga and starch, a classic of the Yoruba people of Delta State. Lastly, we have onunu, a plantain-based swallow of the Izon people in south-south Nigeria. We are eating it with fisherman soup, popular throughout this whole region. And of course, we don't forget the jollof rice. This is popular everywhere in Nigeria. I think what makes Nigeria so great is the diversity of all the different people coming together. These beautiful ethnic groups living side by side, sharing culture and cuisine is what makes Nigeria such an amazing country to visit. Nigerians should be so proud of that cultural heritage, as there is so much more that unites than divides them.
Viewers, you're tuned back to SSM Wednesday News Update Global Africa. Femi, you were saying something before we went on break. Yes, let's hear you. Viewers, we're still talking about the Yoruba Nation. Yoruba Nation on Monday the 13th, or Saturday the 13th, I mean, a group of people called the Yoruba Nation Agitators sprang into the State House, or your State House of Assembly, and the government secretariat to proclaim the emergence of their own government. It's been described as an invasion, and some people call it treasonable offense, but Femi is saying otherwise. Femi, let's hear you.
No, I'm saying absolutely correctly that it is Raji that said it's not a treasonable offense, and I take umbrage with these. And I say to you that these are it's the people like Raji, I'm sorry to say, are the ones that give these kind of people the ammunition to be doing what they're doing. If you tell them the truth from the onset,
what kind of nonsense are you saying,
if
Femi?
you tell them the truth from the onset,
what kind of nonsense? What type of nonsense accusation are you putting on me?
Let me explain myself.
How do I become an
Let me explain myself. If you tell people the truth from the onset, then they won't fall for this kind of stuff. You said it's not a treasonable offense, and I'm telling you, the law is. Yes. Hold on, let me say. I'm saying
how have I encouraged them?
Explain it. So
be careful with your comments.
If you let me say what I'm saying, you can always come back.
Because you're talking nonsense. You can't accuse me. You can't make that kind of slanderous accusation against me.
It's not a slanderous accusation at all. What I've said is quite clear, and I'll make it clear once again. I'm saying to you that if you say to people what your actions, which are treasonable, is not treasonable, you give them carte blanche to do whatever they want, because they'll say, after all, it's not treasonable. Someone like you have said it isn't, so and they will use that as a backing for what they're doing. Whereas if we say to them, look, what you're doing is actually treasonable, they might.
Who am I telling that the action is not treasonable? Who am I telling? We are having a discussion here.
I'm saying to you that
and it's my opinion that it's not treasonable.
Exactly, it is your opinion.
So how am I encouraging them?
As it is your opinion,
be careful with your comments.
It's also my opinion. It's also my opinion, and we must be careful about opinions, because people take
your opinion about me is wrong.
Let me finish.
How can you tell me that I'm telling them it is not reasonable, and therefore I'm encouraging them? Nonsense.
Mr. Raji, look, I don't have a problem with you opposing what I'm saying. But you have to let me finish what I'm saying, and then you can come back. And you can say whatever you like. You can insult me if you like. It's fine. But
you want me to engage with this kind of childish, stupid conversation?
Okay, go ahead.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Raji, go ahead.
One second. Can I?
We have an opinion here. You said that what they did was treasonable. Now I'm saying it's not treasonable. How am I encouraging them to be to go
And
and
you didn't allow me to. You didn't allow me to explain. You didn't allow me to explain what I'm saying. Okay, what I'm saying is, can I say something? When we come on, George. Okay, George, go ahead.
Don't get personal. Don't get personal. Make your point and don't get personal.
George, carry on, George, and I'll say my point.
Enough. When we have opinions, opinion is an okay. Hold tight. Opinion is an opinion, but let's be factual. Because thousands of people are listening to us, and thousands will listen to us
later on.
If the Constitution of Nigeria say that such insurrection is treasonable, and you come out and say it is not treasonable,
quote that part of the Constitution.
I can quote it for you. I can definitely quote it for you.
Yeah,
Section 37 of the Constitution. You want me to quote it for you?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Carry on, George, and I'll quote it for you.
What I'm saying is this: we respect opinions, and that's why we're here. We're not being controlled by any force, any internal or external force, about giving our opinions and giving our honest opinions. But what I want us to also make sure is that we are not going into where we begin to just pontificate, or out of our head, rather than being factual, because it is very, very important that you can influence people whereby they go and say, oh, well, this is not, or where this is, based on your own opinion, when you don't have any backends for it. I'm just saying.
Can I give the section? Can I read the law so that Raji can hear?
Go ahead.
Section 37 of the Criminal Code Act of Nigeria reads as follows: treason, any person who levies war against the state in order to intimidate or overhaul the president or the governor of a state is guilty of treason and is liable to a punishment of death. So it's not about just the federal government, it's the state as well. So if you do an action to overhaul the state, which is the state of or your state, that's a treasonable offense. The penalty is death. That's there, Section 37, Criminal Code of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Raji, I'm just saying to you, let's be honest with ourselves and tell people the truth. At the end, it's not about opinion, it's about truth. So you tell someone the truth, then there can't be in denial to say, I didn't know the law. And in fact, ignorance of the law is no excuse. It's no excuse.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's
true.
Whatever it is, you have quoted it. You have quoted it.
This is a very heated up talk, but one thing remains: these agitators have done a lot, and we all saw what they've done. Now, like George was saying, Femi, George is saying, if we were in some other parts of the country, the southeast most especially, the reaction would have been more fiercer than this. That's what George is saying. Femi, is that true? Because we saw what happened.
I find that so misleading and you see, we should not be sentimental in when we look at these things. I remember when IPOB started their stuff and they blocked all the streets in the southeast, carrying their flags and whatever. Who was slaughtered? Who was killed? Nobody. Who was arrested? Nobody. So let's tell ourselves the truth. Hold on, let me finish. It was
that they have killed in the southeast.
Hold on, let me finish. Hold on. Listen, I'm talking about when it started. I'm talking about when it started, because technically you can say that this is at the beginning now. All right? And at the beginning, they will have been arrested straight away. You understand? Igboho, did they not try to arrest Igboho? They sent police and everybody to his house to try and arrest him. So look, you can say whatever you want, yeah? But the truth is, the federal government of Nigeria is battling on all fronts, whether it's in the north, whether it's in the south, whether it's the south-south, the southeast, everywhere. They're doing their best within a constrained environment. Of course, they could be more balanced in some things, because like I said, Igboho should be arrested right now. I don't see why he's actually walking free when he's got an outstanding warrant for his arrest.
There's no reason why he should be arrested.
There's no reason why he should be arrested. Anyway, let me not get onto Raji, because it'll be like it's personal. So Raji's entitled to say what he likes.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on. Let's move on, guys.
Yeah.
But the question is,
other news.
No,
okay, George.
I'm going to ask you a question, because sometimes when things happen, go to the root causes. why are these people still standing and still defending their action? And this kind of social unrest is a leading cause of insecurity, number one, and food inflation. People have come to the point where they are, bringing this civil political unrest and, agitation. They don't even care, because some of them now, when they go to prison, as much as they might be eating bread and water, to them is better than staying outside and not being able to find food to eat or where to lay their heads. So, but these are the things that we need to really ensure that we don't allow our nation to come to such a chaotic state when it comes to food inflation. But, I mean, it's not, I'm not blaming this particular government for what is happening, because I have said it before. It was a setup. It was a setup. Whether we like it, when we tell the truth, let's tell the truth. It was a setup for this present government to fail. But thankfully, things are moving up.
All right, guys, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Obviously, we'll be monitoring, viewers. We'll be monitoring this whole thing, Yoruba Nation, and we'll give you updates as it goes on. But let's move on, guys. There's a serious issue here, and like George and Femi will say, I want to say the government is making some efforts. EFCC just recovered about 32.7 billion naira. That's about $447 million in humanitarian ministry probe. The humanitarian ministry, like you all know, is the ministry that handles humanitarian affairs and poverty alleviation. Now they've seen this big sum of money, and they are investigating everybody. The one that just left is called Min.Edun, and now they are also checking on the former officer there, Sadia Omar Farouk. She's also been indicted, alleged to have taken billions of money in fraud. Now, guys, Femi, it's a good one. Let's be honest, like you will say, when something good is happening, we want to say, yes, this is happening in our country. EFCC is stepping up to some real strong moves. What will you say about that?
Okay.
So let me hear Femi. Let's hear Femi.
As the APC man on the panel, it's just to say that the current head of chairman of EFCC is not like Bauer, who was there before. So he's saying to you that we're not just chasing Yahoo people. We're going to be chasing corruption at all levels. And what I find most disturbing about Nigerians, when there's a corruption in any government, if it's a PDP minister or whatever, we now say the PDP is corrupt. Now it's the APC is the APC. The corruption is not about party. It's about the individual. What happens is that it is parties that win elections, all right, but they appoint and elect individuals. And it's individuals that go into office. And then if there's any corruption there, it is that individual that we should hold to account. It's not, of course, the government as a whole is held into account, but it's the person who is involved that we should focus our energies on. And that is what's happening now. Min.Edun will have to account for whatever it is, and the previous ministers as well. And I want to see a situation where all co-conspirators in this action, because it's not just the minister as well. There will be civil servants who are deemed as evil servants masquerading as civil servants. They are part of the plot. And you always find that when a minister is prosecuted, what about the civil servants? There are a whole cacophony of them that ought to be convicted as well, and to have heavy sentences. You know what's most scandalous? Have you seen the charges on Emefiele? You're talking about Edu. The amount of billions that he is being accused of having kickbacks, bribes, whatever, is scandalous. And what did the judge give him? A bail of 50 million naira. And his accusation is hundreds of billions of naira. If he absconds tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised. Do you understand? Because look at the size of the amount of charges arraigned against him, and you're just holding him for 50 million naira. It's scandalous. In any other country, that wouldn't happen. The amount of bail would be so humongous, or they would not give you bail. Look what happened to the guy of Binance Finance. He absconded because you're talking about serious money. The head of NIA, Nigeria Intelligence Agency, his name is Okezo, he's not related to me. He and his wife were on a massive corruption, Ikoyi, whatever. They've absconded. So when people have got that kind of money, they should be arrested and they should be on remand. On remand, there should be no bail. I'm sorry, that's my view.
Okay, so now listen to this. When the foundation is wrong, everything you put on top of that foundation will be wrong. Number one, when it comes to this, EFCC and the recovery of 400 and whatever, and the 32 million naira and all those things, I don't think that they were being lost in the first place. It was transferred into an account, personal account, which they brought back, and we've known for a long time that they were going to do this because the woman did not make away with the money. Now, what I'm thinking is this: you mentioned, before you mentioned the MFLA, we're talking about other corporates, the civil servants that were working. That particular organization, even they're going all the way back to the COVID-19 funds and everything. It's been a long process of fraudulent activity taking place in that particular ministry, and possibly when this woman came in, the corrupt state of that particular ministry just gave her the impetus to start doing things the way they have been used to doing it, and then she got caught in, because what I'm thinking is, how can such an educated, enlightened young lady go into this place and just all of a sudden decide within a short period of time?
Within such a short time,
something is wrong. And when we
there is an establishment.
Yes, when we begin to do these investigations, we need to be factual and we need to go deep into it. Because for instance, when you mentioned MFLA is guilty, but there are also many of them standing in he looks guilty. He looks guilty, but I can categorically tell you that most of the things MFLA did was by instruction, and most of the things that he did was as a result of things he's doing for others, and they're getting away with it. So the point is, there is no excuses for doing wrong. The point we are doing is saying is this: MFLA is being shut up. MFLA was given 50 million or billion or whatever. For the point we are making, the system is corrupt, and we need to go to the to the roots of it and make sure that it is corrected. MFLA is not alone. Many of these government officials are involved in this particular saga.
Our time is
including the former president.
Yes, Femi, go ahead. You want to say one last thing?
I thought Raja was going to come in, but if not, what I want to say is, look, the MFLA case is beyond reproach. As much as you try to push it to other people and whatever, he took personal bribes specifically from people, numerous of them. It's on the allegations, you understand? So on the note, he himself he's got an issue. With regards to Min.Edun, I'm not saying that she's guilty. I'm not saying even that she should be on remand right now, because she hasn't actually been charged with any offense. So, and all this money, like you said, it might not even be about her. You understand? It might be within the ministry, and it might not necessarily be about her. But because she's the minister overseeing everything, she has to step down. So let's wait for everything to come out from the wash. And then we can now, and if they level charges against her, then we can speak specifically about Min.Edun. But as for MFLA, we can definitely speak about him because he's got specific charges, a whole raft of them. They keep on coming from all the, every nook and cranny.
There's a particular one about MFLA, about his wanting to be president, and that is enough. That is enough. It's enough for him to be thrown away.
And there's a reason why. Because if he's the president, if he won the election, he'll be immune from prosecution. He knows what he's doing. The man knows what he's doing.
But also that ministry, like George is trying to say, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, it looks like a center of money, real money movement. A woof money. Charity organizations around the world, give money to that ministry.
So
And
opaque.
on your own, very opaque. All right, guys, our time is short, running out very fast. There's so much to have said, but we will streamline it now to just one more news, and that's what's happening right now. We're talking. EFCC is still doing some strong job. It's not just the young man Bobrisky. I don't know how you call it.
Bobrisky.
That is being now. This morning they are holding on to a young man called Cubana Chief Priest. That's one Mr. Okechukwu Pascal is facing EFCC this morning on also same thing, Naira abuse. Okechukwu Pascal. Let's see Okechukwu what he's doing. Viewers, you can see from the screen, he is not spraying the 1-1 note. He's doling out the chunk, the bulk Naira. Throwing it like a ball, like a volleyball to whoever is. So, guys, let's talk about this.
Look, for me, if I could just say, look, when I went to the Southeast for the first time, I went around Christmas time, and around that time, that's when they always have weddings, funerals, and whatever. And that is where I first experienced this kind of spraying. I'm Yoruba, we spray, but this kind of outrageous spraying. When you take the whole bundle and you just throw the whole, I don't know what quantity, maybe it's 100,000 Naira in one. You go throw them, bam, bam. They have a whole crate of and they'll be doing that. And it's outlandish. It's outrageous, and what that does, it also it makes that person a target. In fact, that guy that was doing it at that time, his name was Everest. I went to one of his functions. I don't know who he is, but his name, that was his nickname, Everest. I don't know if you know him. That's what he was doing. We're talking about 1990. Well, way back when, 95 or something like that. So this thing must be stopped, and I think it's ridiculous that they're doing it. And I think anybody who's caught on camera like this now is going to be, people are going to be taken care now. When they've spent some months in Kirikiri, I think they'll stop doing it. It's not necessary.
Okay,
George,
Can I say something? Listen to this. Sometimes we become so frivolous in applying the law. Okay, this man now, they're holding him. He have bundles of money that is wrapped up, and he's throwing it. He's not throwing individual Naira that is being stepped on. Because if you read the law, it talks about stepping on, walking on, or, those type of things.
Dancing on.
Okay, so the man is throwing bundles of money that will land on the floor unbundled. I will be picked up, and you go and pick him up. Come on, man. Come on.
That action. We should discourage that kind of activity.
I know we should, to pick this man up.
George, I hope it's not because he's an Igbo man, or you're saying what you're saying.
No,
it's not because he's Igbo man.
Listen to me.
Don't sentimentalize this thing.
It seems to me that George is coming for an occasion in December, and he wants to prepare himself for it because he has bundles of money.
He wants to collect. He wants to collect. Naira.
No. One thing that what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. Okay, what I'm saying is this. There are things when a law is being executed, and then we are trying to prevent certain things. There are things we ought to be, okay, look at the man, the way he's throwing bundles. He's not, flying it in the air where people will step on it. Okay, now, if you go,
I'm surprised at you, George. I'm surprised that
crimes, with all crimes in Nigeria.
George, you said
Bobrisky was dropping his...
Our opinions remains our opinion. This is your opinion, George.
That's my opinion.
Is it on the floor there? Is it on the floor? George, you see on the floor. They opened the wrapper out. They opened the wrapper. You saw him?
No, that's not him. That's not him. There's another person.
Come on, George. He threw it into the bundle and it's on the floor there.
He started it. He started it.
Look at them. Look at them. Look at them.
No.
Look at them.
Okay, see
Now,
the
now,
Look at them.
assembly.
They are
See the
unwrapping
assembly.
it. Yes, he's the originator of the whole thing.
Let's be a little bit like George would say. Let's be factual. Now, in the constitution, like Femi just read out constitution, it's good we come up with those numbers too sometime. Section 21 of our constitution, Nigerian CBN Act of 2007, says it's a violation of the Naira when you do all of those things. It's not about stepping on it or throwing one of it. It's about.
But you have to understand, this is not
like
the constitution.
trash,
This is a policy.
No, George.
It's a policy. It's not the constitution. It's a policy.
It's a policy, yes.
In the court.
To me, I never knew CBN had a constitutional side of it. But I never liked this. Growing up, I never liked anything this because it really looks very, very like
it's all right.
Banana Republic. The blacks do it in America. They do it around Europe too. So
they copied it from us now. Now we teach them now.
Yes,
now we taught them.
Exactly. You see that that whole thing makes human being look like. I mean, it's
can I just
poor people trying to make you know that they've now got money. That's how I see it.
Can I tell you something? Can you say something? Can I just add finally? Can I just say something? The original idea behind this thing it came from the Yoruba culture, if you like. They are spraying the individual in acknowledgement for whatever. You're my son, you're getting married. Here, take this money. Take this money. You're the artist, we love your music. Take this money. That's not the same as just throwing it on the floor anyhow, reckless. There's a complete difference. But in any case, the whole thing I think needs to come to an end, especially with the poverty, with the poverty happening all over the place.
Yes.
And it's also a haven for criminals because armed robbers will see you. They will now say, let's waylay them. You understand? Let's stop this nonsense now.
Femi, George that is talking. You guys listen, George that is talking. George knows that the Bible says when you give, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. When you give, don't give like the hypocrites and they want the world to see them giving. Hey, see, I have money. Take money. I mean, why not package that money?
It's our call. Give culture to whom culture is due.
It is not.
Give culture to whom culture is due. It's a Yoruba culture that we borrowed.
This is a culture.
We need to change
This is a
it.
culture that we should not support.
If that was an
George,
if that was the Hausa man, would you be saying what you're saying? I want to know.
Yes. Yes. I don't discriminate.
Sorry, please. May I add something here?
Right.
That guy who is throwing away so much money, how much tax does he pay?
Okay.
Exactly.
Now we're going to
That's a good question.
Man. Come on,
That's a very good question.
You have to
And
come to that.
I think EFCC, when they call him in for
ask him those questions.
You ask him those kind of questions. If this is actually what we should be doing in Nigeria, where is the origin of your money? What is your tax returns? Can we check your tax returns? If your tax returns doesn't reflect the kind of money you're spraying, you've got questions to answer.
The only thing I will agree with George is let this go round. Politicians do it during campaign season.
Yeah. Traditional leaders. There's even traditional leaders doing it as well.
Yeah, let's begin to check on everybody. Let's stop this.
No, the question. When we start talking about how much tax does he pay, we need to go and start. We know a dead fish when it starts thinking from the head. So, when we start going on the bottom or in the middle and then start doing all these, we are powerful, we are trying to, make sure that everything is going fine. There are so many on top that are getting away with murder and everything, and we're not even looking at that. We're going to this over how much tax does it pay?
Until they come to the public and start spending money.
It might have changed, only $300. And they give him, a 50 naira or 100 naira that he's throwing.
That's more than $300. It will be millions. Millions.
It's time to go, Femi.
Tomorrow I've got my show. We're talking about Oduduwa Nation, independence. Egbon Raji, you can come and make your points there.
Yes, we're coming. We're all coming. I'm coming too. Yeah, so viewers, this is it. We've done our bits. This has been every man speaking is giving out his own opinion. Today, Wednesday, 17th April 2024. And we've done our bit on Global Africa SSM. Thank you so much, guys. Man, you guys said it. Yes, it was a little bit intense, but yes, we had to do this. We had to put it out.
Glad I was part of it.
Yes,
Egbo is my brother. He's my brother. We may disagree, but he's my brother.
Go and marry. Yes. Go and marry and leave me alone.
How do you know he's not married?
If he's married, you should go and remarry.
I'm looking for your daughter. Egbo, have you got a young daughter?
Let's
Very beautiful one.
Program tomorrow. Tomorrow, what's the time, Femi?
It's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock UK time. 8 o'clock Nigerian time. Yes. All right.
8 o'clock UK time.
In the morning or in the evening?
In the evening.
Right.
Enough is enough. Sorosoke Prime View Television.
Thank you. All right, viewers. All right. Till we come again on Friday. Bye bye, Raji. Thank you, George.
Thank you very much, everybody.